Spoiler alert, the story includes details about the season 4 finale of Jane the Virgin on the CW. What? That was probably the reaction of every Jane the Virgin fan watching the season 4 finale after the final scene. The show is known for loading its season finales with big twists and cliffhangers in the final minutes, but tonight's was the mother of all twists. Jane, walking into Rafael's apartment expecting a wedding proposal from him, instead came face to face with a guy who looked exactly like her dead husband Michael. Side note, Brett here, who played Michael on the show and made a cameo tonight, is starring in a CBS comedy pilot, History of Them, and would not be available full-time should the pilot goes to series, but he is expected to do multiple episodes of Jane in Season 5. Up until that crazy turn of events, Jane followed closely its established finale formula. There was a Villanueva woman wedding, Elba and Jorge vs. EXO and Rogelio last year, and Jane and Mihal the year before. There was another bus ride for Jane. We see the bus as both literal and symbolic. It marks Jane's passage into different stages of her life. Jane creator, executive producer Jenny Snyder-Urman told Deadline last year about the bus presence in every season finale. There was a gun pointed at Petra in a cliffhanger for a second straight season finale. Last year it was by her sister Ineska. This time, it was an unknown assailant who ended up being shot by Petra's girlfriend, Junior. The mystery, illustrated by Herman, also will address another big question: is the end of Jane the Virgin near? The series was just renewed for a 5th season, which is believed to be the show's final chapter, but there has been nothing official. Snyder-Urman gives some clues to her plans for ending the show. Hint, they include Jane getting married. Deadline, how about that ending? Snyder-Urman, oh, I know, I haven't been able to see it without screaming, and I've seen it probably 30 times, and it always makes me jump out of my seat. Deadline, let's jump right in. Was this Michael, or do we have yet another set of identical twins on the show? Snyder-Urman, yeah, I cannot answer that, but it's not Michael's identical twin, I can tell you that. Deadline, so if Michael is alive? Snyder-Urman, well, I'll say, if that's Michael and not some Rose twist. Deadline, you mentioned Rose. It's probably not a coincidence that the appearance of the mystery character who looks exactly like Michael was tied to Rose, who is known for faking other people's physical appearance. Snyder-Urman, I think that it's impossible not to wonder about that, because you have a character, Rose, that is tied to his reappearance, and you know what Rose is capable of, but that'll be answered the night of the premiere of the 5th season. Deadline, can you give us a hint? Snyder-Urman, no, I can't. Deadline, what is Rose up to? Patrick Wymore, the CW. Snyder-Urman, that's all connected, but underneath it all, you know Rose wants to be with Louisa. Everybody in Jane is motivated in some way or another by their heart, and Rose has told Louisa and has told the audience that theirs is the greatest love story ever told, and she really gave up that information to find her. Deadline, how did the idea about the Michael twist come about? Was it the big fan reaction to his death? Snyder-Urman, it came about as I realized where we were in the story, how many more episodes we had to go, and what I wanted it to feel like as we moved towards the ending. Deadline, but did the fans' continued support for that character play a role in the decision, or you'd already had that planned? Snyder-Urman, I'm always aware of the fans, of the love for the character, but I don't make decisions towards that. It really has to do with the telenovela aspect of our story that I thought it was best for, and the setup that would help pave the way for where we are going to end up. Deadline, when did the idea for Michael's surprise reappearance come about? Was it this season or earlier? Snyder-Urman, not this season, but this is something that I had a lot of. I don't think it's even safe to call it a twist because it's central to the story and what's happened and what will happen. I did not know it right from the beginning, I'll say. There's a moment that I knew that this is how things would go, and it was a little while back, and that helped shape the rest of the storytelling. Patrick Wymore, the CW. Deadline, so what now? Jane and Rafael have been in a great place. How will the reintroduction of this character shake up their relationship? Snyder-Urman, if it's Michael, which you know we'll see what we learn, I think it changes everything. In some ways it's the most heroic thing that Rafael could have done to bring him back, but also it's his worst fear that if Michael was still there he would be Jane's second choice, and so with the reappearance of this character I think he's done the ultimate sacrifice, but I think he's put their relationship in great jeopardy, and that will be a giant part of the storytelling when we finally return for Season 5. Deadline, please promise that we are not headed to yet another Jane-Michael-Rafael love triangle? Snyder-Urman, can't promise anything, but you know it's a telenovela. She will end up with someone, and I hope it will be an exciting development. Deadline, let's talk about the other big development in the final few seconds of the episode. How long did you work on the Dallas Who Shot JR reference with? I knew it would happen, and then we had named her Jane and then her nickname was Junior, and from there obviously the light bulb started to stay on as we got into the finale. Deadline, can we get clues on the identity of the shooter? Obviously it was somebody that Paul Sarkis, the CW Snyder it was someone that Petra knows. Deadline, yes, somebody Petra knows, and it can't be her mother Magda. She is in prison, I believe. Snyder well, she's not in prison, but she's in prison adjacent. She's stuck in the place and it's not Magda. Deadline, is it someone that we have seen on the show or somebody from Petra's life that we have not met yet? Snyder no, it will be someone that you have seen. Deadline, let's talk about your plan for the show. There have been indications that season 5 would be Jane's final season. Can you confirm that? Snyder no, that's not confirmed yet. I can't confirm or deny, that is what I can say. I will say that we've planned the ending for a long time, so we are stepping towards it. The show's obviously not going to go on forever, but I can't confirm that. Deadline, every season of the show has had a theme related to a new stage in Jane's life. The current season was recapturing the joy, as you had put it. What will be the theme of season 5? Snyder full circle. Life coming full circle. Deadline, can you elaborate? Snyder her writing. The words she typed on her bed were the words that began our pilot. Deadline, the show also started with an accidental artificial insemination. Would full circle mean we'd get another one of those? Snyder no, not an accidental insemination. Deadline, you said you're planning the final chapter. Where is Jane going to end up? Will she eventually get married? Snyder telenovelas structurally end with weddings, so ours will as well. Whether it's in the last episode or close thereabouts, that I can't quite reveal, but Jane will get married again. Deadline, will we be surprised by the groom, or it's somebody we already know? Snyder you already know. That would be really funny and a real twist. Deadline, well, if this is Michael, he and Jane are already married, so that leaves Rafael. Snyder it'll end in a wedding is really what I can say. Deadline, what else can you tell us about the next season? Michael Desmond, the CW Snyder I think we've left on such a big exciting cliffhanger that we're very excited to delve in. The big question that we'll be answering is it Michael or is it sort of a Summersby situation? Everybody will be in a state of shock from this cliffhanger. We'll begin to explore that, and we're also going to see big things with Jane's writing start to happen on her career front. We've been focusing a lot on that and on where she's going and where she wants to get to, and that's going to continue to develop in an exciting way. Rogelio is going to officially shoot his pilot with River Fields, and the shooting of the pilot is going to play an important role in establishing some of the themes that we're going to be getting into as he translates the passions of Santos into the passions of Steve and Brenda. Petra is going to be dealing with the aftermath of who the shooter was and also dealing with her relationship with Junior, who she really loves and who obviously is quite angry with her. Deadline, will there be any repercussions for Petra or Junior from that murder? Petra already was under suspicion over Inesca's murder, her ex-lover also was killed, and now yet another body pops up in her room. Snyder yeah, she gets a little bit of a Black Widow stink about her. Obviously she was responsible for Inesca's death after what we learned in the finale, but I don't plan to put her under investigation for this incident because somebody had broken into her room and was essentially stalking her and getting ready to kill her. Deadline, will there be any big deaths next season? Snyder I'm not going to answer.